PCN is brought to you in part by the following underwriters.
Welcome to PACTV Community News, local stories from Duxbury, Kingston, Pembroke, and Plymouth. Tonight, we take you to a music festival in Plymouth dedicated to uniting people in peace. And we stop into the Kingston Council on Aging, which held a live event for WATD.
We met the owners of Twice as Nice Consignment in Pembroke, an Eagle Scout from Duxbury, and Kingston's town administrator comes on set for Town Talk.
PCN stops into the Mothball, put on by the Southeastern Massachusetts Pine Barrens Alliance, and we celebrate Pembroke's 50th anniversary of their arts festival.
It's going to be a full show, and we begin at Duxbury High School. PCN stopped over to the Duxbury High School athletic field to meet a young man working to achieve the highest rank of Boy Scouts, the Eagle Scout. Eagle Scouts must complete an important community-related project to attain this level, and Matthew Perenick, with the assistance of his family, neighbors, and fellow Scouts of Troop 62, constructed 2 accessible picnic tables. PCN met up with the group on a workday to see the project.
So right now we are at the Duxbury Turf Field, and we are right behind the bleachers near the concession stand. So we were just driving around and brainstorming, and then all of a sudden I just thought, there's thousands, hundreds and thousands of people coming here from field hockey to football to soccer and many other sports every week. Why don't put something for them to eat their food at besides the bleachers? Actually have like a table for them. Well, I've been playing football since I was 8 years old and scouting probably a couple years before that, and I've just grown up through the years playing football and doing Boy Scouts and rising through the ranks of Boy Scouts, and now eventually being in high school doing football and everything. I wanted to give back and just have something that would reflect my love of scouting and my love of football into one single project that everyone can see and enjoy. We started out by planing the wood so it would have less splintering, and it would take out the cup of the wood when the wood is growing, so it would make the wood not all go everywhere in every which direction. And then we routed it so the edges would be nice and smooth and no one would get splinters on it. And then we just went from there, supporting the bottom, and today we had to disassemble everything, put it in the back of the trailer, and bring it here where we had all the Scouts, put it together with the bolts and nuts and everything, and screwing the benches down and screwing the tabletop to the legs. I just wanted to make the table to include everyone, to handicapped people, to able people, anyone who wanted to sit here, they can. And the Boy Scouts just coming and helping everyone with every chance you get in this service project, the Eagle Project, showing how much you can help the community and benefiting the community in the way you choose.
The Pembroke Library hosted the 50th anniversary of the Pembroke Arts Festival, where the founding members were honored. The festival is a highlight in the summer in Pembroke, and PCN stopped in to capture the celebration.
Well, the Arts Festival, the 50th anniversary of the Pembroke Arts Festival, the current directors have decided in the 50th anniversary tonight to honor the founding directors of the Arts Festival. This being the 50th year, it was very kind of them to invite us. It's amazing to think that this is the 50th year. We were so excited in the first year as we gathered at the old 9 Hours restaurant, figuring out how to do this, that we decided to name the first year the first annual Pembroke Arts Festival. We were so convinced it was going to work that we said this is the first annual Pembroke Arts Festival, and here we are calling it the 50th annual Arts Festival. So we were prophetic in that sense.
Brooks Kelly came up with a great idea, and he was an artist as well as a businessman, so he got a group of us businessmen together and said, let's have an arts festival 50 years ago. And I don't know about the other fellas, but I always felt it was a good thing for the town. So you might say, gave back a little bit. And I can see it was a success, so I'm happy.
Well, I think it's wonderful that the town realized that the art festival was a good thing to do, and admire the creativity of the artists in a different medium. And new people come and get on the committee and make new friends and bring their own thing in.
I'm a hardware person, so I deal with the flats and the wiring for the lights and all the hardware stuff. Well, I got involved many years ago. At the time I was in the towing business, and I had a flatbed ramp truck. And they were storing the flats over on the top of Mountain Avenue at High Street in the loft of a barn. And it was requiring 3 or 4 pickup trucks to back in there and load some flats on and haul them up to the center and then come back and get another load. And I said, I can back my truck into the barn door and we can load them all onto that truck and make one trip. So that's how I got involved.
It's nice to think that the person who was afraid to display his or her art has a chance to do it on a beginning level. And this is a good place to do it. And it's a win-win situation.
And the art festival every year gets bigger and bigger, and they have all kinds of artists from people that are just starting out, young people, all the way up to people that have been doing art all their life.
Yeah, and I think one aspect of the Pembroke Arts Festival that's worth mentioning is also they have such a great children's exhibit.
Yes.
Like, I remember I grew up in Pembroke, and you live in Pembroke.
Yeah.
I even remember participating in that, and
Yeah.
it was so exciting as a little kid to be, that's mine on that
Yeah.
wall. It's a great event, and it's really a staple of the Pembroke community.
Yeah, and 50 years. Here's to 50 more.
Hurrah. We're sad to see our friend Tammy Murray leaving the Kingston Council on Aging, leaving for new opportunities, but she joined us for one last story as we dropped by the COA for one of their Monday night live information sessions. It's at these sessions that the Council on Aging teams up with local radio station WATD to discuss pressing issues with the public in an audience participation radio call-in show. During this session, they discussed hoarding and its effects on families.
So before we did Brian, we've actually asked Brian to maybe.
ATD comes and broadcasts live, Kevin Tocci show, Monday Night Live. This will be the 3rd time that he's done it. And each time that he does it, we try to bring in entertainment, something interesting, but also to let people know about things that we're doing in the area. This particular one is going to focus on hoarding with 2 other segments that will involve a connection of ALS 1.
We're always looking for opportunities to get out and meet with our listeners, to be better informed ourselves so we can deliver the information and the message. We're a community organization working with another community organization. That's kind of the key, is working together, a tight-knit group as a community.
Tonight's subject matter is on hoarding, and we have 2 speakers from Old Colony, Elder Services coming in. And if people don't know, Old Colony is where you would contact if you know of someone with hoarding issues. And hoarding can be different in a lot of people's minds. You could walk into your mother's house and say, Mom, your table's covered. But hoarding in someone else's house is maybe newspapers, piled 5, 6, 7 feet that could possibly fall over and collapse and injure you or kill you, and also restrict any medical services or emergency services getting into your house. It's very common. There's probably someone in your neighborhood that is a hoarder and you wouldn't even know it.
Well, the idea of the program is to share information in any way that we can deliver the information, whether it's over the airwaves or here in person. It gives us an opportunity to meet with the people one-on-one, give an opportunity to maybe hand in questions for the particular segment that they may want an answer to, that they haven't had a chance to get an answer for, or seeking an answer.
So it's really important to have connections with local media such as PACTV or ATD. Kevin has been here 3 times, and it's been an amazing way to get information out to the communities, because a lot of what we're talking about isn't just for Kingston, it's for the whole South Shore and beyond.
The Kingston Council on Aging, along with all the other Council on Agings that we cover, do an amazing job bringing up all kinds of topics that are really helpful to the elderly population, and it's great that WATD partners with them on a continuous basis.
Yeah, I mean, it's really important to really talk about certain issues out in the open. And as Timmy Murray is moving on, we just wanted to let everyone know that she will be staying in her line of work, just moving to the Hanover Council on Aging. So best of luck to her.
Yeah, she's not going far. Good luck. In celebration of Moth Week, the Southeastern Massachusetts Pine Barrens Alliance teamed up with the Caterpillar Lab for a road trip to the Plymouth plantation. They brought a variety of caterpillars, moths, and an assortment of other creatures for the moth ball, immersing kids and adults alike into the vast world of moths.
I was invited to come and join a group at Plymouth Plantation to do a moth night, where we are putting out bright lights and we're having moths fly in and other insects, just to see the diversity of creatures that are out there in the yard that we wouldn't notice otherwise. I think we probably have about 15 different species of caterpillar over there. We're on a Caterpillar Lab road trip right now, doing programs across Southeast Mass and down to the Cape Cod. So we did bring a couple of species that we wanted to showcase, not that we'll see at the sheets tonight, but ones that tell a story about sort of the need for conservation of insects, for us to pay attention to the struggles they face.
You're looking at a beautiful 130-acre campus. Most of this land is in natural landscape, which makes it an ideal habitat for a lot of wildlife, including insects. And there's a lot going on here, and people are learning. I think Plymouth Plantation is a great environment for learning.
The last job of every caterpillar is to set itself up to be safe for its next life stage. So I started the Caterpillar Lab up in Keene and do programs all around New England, specifically to showcase the diversity of these strange creatures that most people don't know even live around here. For kids, for adults, for any audience, we want to show them that there's a lot of value just outside the door in the green spaces and backyards and old parking lots that we've been missing. So if we can show them some fantastic animals tonight and then say, actually, you can go outside and find these right here and interact with them and see their amazing lives, play out. We feel like we'll encourage a new generation of naturalists and encourage adults too to take a closer look and maybe see value where they didn't see it before. Butterflies are a tiny group of insects within all of the moths. So when we're moth lighting, sometimes people think, oh, it's a small group of dingy insects that fly at night. Actually, it's up to possibly 5,000 species, not all identified, that live here in New England of moths, to about 130 butterfly species. So all of the diversity in this family, order Lepidoptera, the moths and butterflies, is held within these creatures, the moths. And a lot of them, like this regal moth here, they don't feed as an adult. Their story, as far as how they interact with the environment, largely ends with the caterpillar. But many, many moths are important pollinators. They're going around and feeding on the flowers at night, fertilizing things, just like bees do, but there are more moths than bees. And they're also a great food source. They're just an incredibly important sort of glue in the middle of the food chain. The caterpillars interacting with the plants, the moths interacting with the flowers, and both stages interacting with bats and birds and other predators.
As part of National Consignment Week, we thought we'd feature one consignment shop many people here in the South Shore know just by the cardboard cutout of the woman that looks a lot like Audrey Hepburn out on the upstairs deck. We spoke with the store owner, Catherine Dubois, who explains the difference between consignment and thrift and how diverse the customer base is at her shop.
You know, for 20, 30 years, I worked in retail, and I could never find, myself to buy full price. And so I started, looking at consignment shops, and I love bargains, I love quality, and I found that I could find both at the consignment shop. And I always loved fashion, and I used to shop, at this store for many years. And once, the opportunity came up, I could buy it, and I just went for it. Just to clarify, people think that consignment is a thrift. Consignment is not a thrift store. We are not a non-profit, so we don't function on donations. People come in and bring their clothes, and very, very often, so they are gently used, and very often we actually find items that are brand new with tags. We make sure that we stick around, so we look at fashion, we look at what's out, we look at the colors, we look at the styles. So in this store, you have everything that a woman would want and can wear. So we can have lingerie, you can have special occasions, you have activewear, you have jeans, you have swimwear. So anything that a woman can want. I mean, we have shoes, we have pocketbooks. So we have everything for, and every woman, we have from, size 16 to age, 100. Many times we have, clients will come in and say, I'm glad I came in. This is my first time. I came here. My friend, said, come here. And sometimes, they will turn their nose, up to consignment because they have been pre-owned, and they are surprised, and they like the fact that they will find items, new with the tags, and they are, the items have been selected, and it's good quality. Everybody comes here. So we have the teenagers who come in. We have the student going back to school. They're going to come here before they take off. We have, little ladies. We have, like I said, we have from like 18 years of age, even a little bit younger, up to like 100, as long as they can walk, they'll make it here, because we have something for every woman of any age or every age.
South Shore resident Sharon Robertson was so disturbed by all of the turmoil around the world that she started up a nonprofit called Uniting People for Peace. Her organization held a free concert in downtown Plymouth at the amphitheater, featuring numerous singer-songwriters with their own music to promote peace. We met up with Sharon during the concert to learn more about her plans for this movement that she so passionately started.
This is called the Uniting People for Peace Music Festival Songwriters Showcase. And this is, it's hosted by Uniting People for Peace, which is a nonprofit I founded in January. It's not political, it's not religious, it's not racial, it's not about, it doesn't have an agenda other than the fact of bringing people together to counter the division that seems to be everywhere in our culture and our society. So really the premise for the Peace, Uniting People for Peace, is how they operate in their own sphere of influence. And that should ripple out into how we treat each other around the world. But it really is about what's happening on an individual level. We have 8 songwriters. These songwriters all feel the same way that I do. They're, we're all pushing for this, trying to raise some awareness about how people should be behaving, and acting in the world. So that's really what it is. Today it's just to showcase these performers and bring people together. It's the very first Uniting People for Peace, and I'd love to do, I'm planning on doing this every year. So it will be an annual. This is the first of forever and forever until I can't run it anymore. Plymouth is America's hometown. And so what better place than to start to bring back those values and those about compassion, about empathy, and about peace towards each other, and how we act towards each other. But what better place than here? Have it begin here. And the waterfront, it's so healing here. So it's just a beautiful place. It's really about raising awareness about how we think, that there's an option. We don't have to mistreat each other. We don't have to be disrespectful to each other. We don't have to have the last word. We can just step back and just get along, and that's what this is. I just think it was that it needed to be, there has to be a counter to what's going on. People need to be reminded of that. And so when they leave here, they say, oh yeah, listen, those songwriters, they had great ideas. They're expressing this sentiment.
We are pleased to have Robert Fennessy, the town administrator of Kingston, back on Town Talk today. Welcome back, Robert.
Thank you. It's nice to be here again.
It's nice to have you here. It's mid-August.
It is.
It's almost the end of summer.
It's very hot out.
Yes, it's very hot out, yes. But we're going to talk first about the Grays Beach, because you got a grant to do something really spectacular there. So tell us about it.
We did. The town applied for a coastal resilience grant through the state, and we had a project that was about $880,000 to renovate the whole Grays Beach, the beach itself, putting in dunes, leveling it, making it more user-friendly, and it'll become a living shoreline. It's a new concept of having the marsh and the beach itself instead of walls and rocks. And,
so you're using the environment to actually create
so
the background.
we were fortunate enough, we were the highest grant awardee by the state at $497,000.
Wow, just for that?
For that. And along with other grants that we received, the $880,000 project will be almost paid for just through grants.
Oh,
so we're so fortunate in the town of, and I want to thank Maureen Thomas and Sue Woodworth for doing the majority of the work on that.
That's great. And when is this work going to start?
So it's a lot of permitting process with DEP and other state permits and federal permits that are needed. So it'll be done in phases.
Great.
But it'll hopefully start in the spring. You know, we'll start seeing that going. So.
Onward and upward with Grays Beach.
So that's it, yeah.
Okay. Now, energy aggregation. Talk about that.
Energy aggregation got a lot of talk in Kingston. Back in 2016, the town the selectmen put an article on town meeting floor to seek energy aggregation. That's using the buying power of all the residents, the businesses, the town itself into one group so that you can get a better rate.
Sure.
And we did that after the town meeting voted for it. And Tom Bott, acting energy manager, put together a program. We sought out bids and we contracted with a company who is doing the energy aggregation project.
And how much do you think you'll save?
The initial will be about 3% less than whatever source is. And there's an opt-in, opt-out period where, or any time actually, you can opt out of that program without a fee. You can opt back in without a fee.
So it's a win-win.
It's like, you can check if you can get better rates somewhere else, you can do that. But we think that this is the best rate and it's locked in. So
Terrific.
they're estimating that energy will be going up.
Absolutely,
in the future.
And that kind of plays into the fact that Kingston is such a green community.
We are, and that's part of this. We utilize our energy manager to look for sources that saves the town both energy use as well as money.
Right.
And that's a big thing. I mean, the more money we save, the less
the better,
taxes.
And you're also working on a solar field.
We are, the first solar field will be going up at the landfill.
Which is great, which is just another way to be a green community and save more money. It's a win-win again.
So the town, there was mailing sent out. Everybody should have received one at their house. And they can read it and either stay in the program or opt out.
Okay.
So,
but it's on the table. It's there for everybody.
It is, The
That's
savings are there. If you're so inclined to go back to Eversource and pay 3% more, then
go ahead.
Good luck. It's like
summer recreation. You got a couple things going on.
We do. August 25th. It's Friday night. Will be the last movie for the children at Grays Beach.
Yes.
And it starts at dusk, and it's the movie Sing,
which is great.
It's a great movie. It's an animated movie. The kids love it, and it's something about being out in the open air and watching a movie.
Right.
There's not drive-ins anymore like that we used to have.
It's a good family. A really good family.
And we get a really good response to these movies. So that's one thing. The other that's interesting is, and a lot of young men get involved in, is the pickup basketball league.
That's sponsored by the rec department.
And we have new courts at the Opunchinsky Field. It's outdoor courts, and it's every Monday night at 6:30.
Terrific.
And they
rain or shine?
love that. Rain or well, we'll say shine. Questionable about the rain. You don't want somebody getting hurt.
That's great.
Yep.
Now you have an automatic defibrillators are everywhere now in the
Yes,
police
so that
department?
was past the town meeting.
Yep.
To purchase these defibrillators to be put in the police cruisers.
Yeah.
Oftentimes, when there's a situation of a heart attack or something, the first responder is actually a police officer
Correct.
because they can get there a lot quicker
Right.
than a
and
ambulance
a fire
out of a
truck.
fire
Sure.
station. So we now have them in all the cruisers.
Terrific.
It's great. You know, I think it's a big benefit to the residents. to have
Absolutely is.
that.
And they're all trained to obviously
And they're
use
trained,
them.
yeah.
Yep.
They get the training too, and their in-service training every year.
That's great.
And we also had purchased for the town buildings. The majority of the town buildings will now have them too.
That's terrific.
We
Yeah,
already
we-
have
we-
them at
we bought one here, too.
recreation.
Yep.
We already have them
Yep.
at town hall.
Yep,
And so
it's a
forth.
lifever. Why
It
not?
is. You know, you use it once,
Yep.
and
It's worth it.
it's worth whatever
Sure
it
is.
costs. you
Sure
know,
is.
So.
And
So
in our, go ahead.
Because of that, we become a heart-safe community.
Oh, okay.
Based
So you've been
on all the
designated,
things
yeah.
that we've done, and the fire department is seeking and will get that designation.
Terrific.
And you've probably seen that in other towns where they
Yeah.
have the signs up as you enter the
Good
town.
for you. And in our last 10 seconds, I'm just going to congratulate you because you are getting married.
Oh,
on
thank you.
September 10th.
I am, yes,
So we're
yes,
we're
yes.
thrilled for you.
That's why I'm sweating.
And
No.
we'll probably have him back after his wedding,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
then you won't
Maybe.
be sweating
Yeah,
so
yeah,
much.
yeah, no.
Thank you.
So thank you.
Robert.
I appreciate that.
Thank
It's,
you.
Long coming, so
Good for you.
thanks.
We hope you enjoyed this week's show. We're back next week with another new episode, so be sure to come back. PCN is on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter, so check us out there or find us at PACTV's website and Prime Channel. We will see you next week.